What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend as we approach the Christmas season here. We got Christmas Eve coming up on Tuesday evening and of course Christmas morning on Wednesday. So we're going to be getting caught up with our fragrance rotation videos. As always, check the description. I'm going to leave the name of the fragrance, the day and the week that I wore it in the description. So that'll be correct down below, but we'll get this started. This will be the last double fragrance rotation video before we're finally caught up on the current week. So on Monday, the newer release from Argos, one of the newer releases anyway, along with Sacred Flame. But this is Charon's Vail, or Charon's Vail, depending on how you want to say it. Beautiful rose, oud, saffron, a lot of resins and wood in here as well. Really, it's going to be perfect for any time of year. It's going to be perfect for summer. I think it's definitely, with the rose and the oud, it's light enough to where it's not overpowering, but at the extrait concentration as well. And a lot of the wood and the warm resiny notes in here. Perfect for fall and winter time as well. Very versatile fragrance, so I'm going to be getting a lot of usage out of that. Now on Tuesday, man, this fragrance smells like Christmas. It really does. This is a Xerjoff Holysm, very green fragrance. It's got cade oil, fir balsam, thyme, lots of green notes, patchouli, tobacco, I believe. A lot of green notes on here. It really does smell like a Christmas tree, very green fragrance. So not going to be for everyone. I personally love Holysm. It's very strong, definitely an outdoor fragrance. Doesn't have like that animalic oud that ether has, but it's very well done. And again, you know, maybe worth a sample because that's not going to be a fragrance for everyone, but I personally love Holysm. Wonderful stuff. So on Wednesday, we wore Boadicea the Victorious Dasman. Very strong rose and oud fragrance. It's definitely a lot different than Charon's Vail. A lot different from Almas. You guys know the House of Boadicea. They do a lot of rose and oud fragrances. Where is it? Almas is another one, but it's completely different than this. This is a very true rose and oud fragrance. Those are the two most pronounced notes in it, at least to me. Incense and saffron is definitely heavy in here as well, along with some cypri oil and stuff like that. Cypri oil. Really good fragrance, but you gotta appreciate those really heavy Middle Eastern rose and oud fragrances. Otherwise, that might be a little bit off-putting to you. I would say Almas, and we'll get to that in a second, is a little bit more wearable version. But Thursday, Dubai Platinum from Bond Number 9. Absolutely gorgeous scent. I will say Dubai Platinum, I've said it before, reminds me a little bit of the old Creed Spice and Woods. A little bit of like the Andy Warhol Silver Factory with the incense in there, but it's really nice, spicy, woody incense. Definitely Middle Eastern, but with a little bit of a modern twist to it. Definitely one of my favorite ones from the Dubai series for that style of fragrance. It is long-lasting, but not overly heavy. Again, a little bit like jade and maybe ruby. Looking at the notes, you might think it's a little bit heavier than it is, but they did a very good job of blending this one and not going too over the edge. It also has papyrus oil, which I'm starting to become more and more a fan of. The more I smell it in fragrances, I really like the usage of papyrus oil and Amouage Boundless as well. And they did a wonderful job using it in Dubai Platinum. So on Friday, Boadicea the Victorious Almas, or Almas, depending on how you pronounce it. Now Dasman, again, rose, oud, saffron fragrance. Rose, oud, saffron fragrance, but completely different. This has pineapple, blueberry, cassis. It's a lot more juicy, fruity. The rose and the oud is a little bit more berried, even though it's pronounced. It's not nearly as pronounced as in the fragrance Dasman. And for me, Almas is one of those fragrances that it's just a compliment monster. It's modern, but it still has that very unique and traditional Middle Eastern rose oud background with the saffron. But again, with that pineapple, blueberry, cassis, and you look at some of the other ingredients in here, this one is definitely well worth it in my opinion if you're looking for something along that style that's a little bit easier to grab and go. Almas is just going to be an absolute crowd pleaser, and you're still going to smell unique and stand out. So on Saturday, Coney Island from the House of Bond Number 9. Beautiful gourmand fragrance, but it's also got a lot of wood and musk in there. And of course, that very playful opening that people either seem to love or hate. It's got guava and margarita mix, so it's definitely kind of tropical, playful. Of course, this was meant to emulate what the Coney Island State Fair or the fair up there actually smells like. And never been there myself, but I can imagine with the funnel cakes, the smoothies, all the other stuff, the fair food goes on. You know, it's very playful, gourmand fragrance at the top. And my favorite part about it is it really kind of dries down to a serious musk and wood heavy fragrance with a little bit of those sweet notes still lingering around. So really good job on bond number 9. Coney Island doesn't get the credit it deserves, but it's definitely one of the, in my opinion, one of the more unique fragrances in their lineup, and just tremendous longevity and development out of this one. So for me, compliments, longevity, development. Coney Island really checks all the boxes. So Sunday, we got Amouage King Blue. Now this fragrance, very controversial. It's love or hate, it seems like. 100% on the love side of King Blue, very similar to Silver Oud, but it's a lot more wearable. Black currant, a little bit of mandarin, I believe, and pink pepper. So it's juicy, makes it jump off the skin. But then you have a lot of the wood and oud notes at the base, patchouli as well, I believe. Very, very strong fragrance, 35 or so percent oil concentration, somewhere around the mid-30s oil concentration. Very long lasting. Again, some people hate this fragrance, some people think it's the best from the house. For me, very, very similar base notes to Silver Oud, which is why I love it, but with that very juicy, you know, mandarin and kind of blueberry cassis type of opening to it. Really, really nice stuff. I love King Blue. Other people hate it, that's fine. That'll just make the backup bottle that I inevitably be buying a little bit cheaper. So starting off on the second week here, going back to Monday, again, check the description. All the fragrances, the date, and the days that I wore them will be in the description. So Monday, restarting a week, Fall of Phaeton, one of my favorite from the House of Argos, not just for fall time, but definitely one of my favorites from the entire House of Argos. Very developmental. It's got like ginger, agar wood. I believe it's got lemon in the top, so it's kind of a bright, playful, spicy opening. Then it goes down to like the agar wood, a little bit of florals. And my favorite part of the fragrance is definitely the dry down. I think it's got like tonka bean, leather, musk, vanilla. Very, very well-structured fragrance and extremely developmental. I think a lot of people really enjoy Fall of Phaeton for the fact of how different the opening, middle, and the dry down, the base notes are. So really good job on them. Definitely one of my favorite fragrances from the entire House of Argos. If you've not tried Fall of Phaeton yet, definitely worth getting a sample or at least a bottle of, because that is, in my opinion, they've done some really good things at the House of Argos, but this stuff is very special to me. And I had a friend who came over, tried a lot of stuff from the House of Argos, and this is actually the one that he decided to buy as well. So on Tuesday, a little bit of a newer fragrance for me from the House of Unique Luxury, Hidden Accords. Guys, jasmine, coffee, patchouli, pear. I mean, it's kind of creamy, kind of gourmand, a little bit floral. You guys just have to try this fragrance. It's hard for me to actually describe it. Definitely one of the better ones from the house. I would say Unique Luxury has a very good portfolio of fragrances at this point, and this one is very unique, and it kind of fits in slightly to the gourmand category. And you guys know how well they do gourmand with Mashu Maro and Chocolate Makes Me Happy. This is not quite down that road in terms of sweetness and how gourmand it is, even though it does have some very slight qualities of that. So if you haven't tried this one, major crowd pleaser. I love it. People love it on me. And yeah, Hidden Accords is really good stuff from Unique and Luxury. So on Wednesday, bond number 9, Dubai Amber. Said it about this fragrance before, but this fragrance, like everything is strong in this fragrance. The raspberry, the saffron, the rose, the vanilla, the civet, the incense, the oud. Everything is so strong that nothing kind of overpowers each other. Again, it won't be a fragrance for everybody, but this is definitely one of the best projecting and longest lasting fragrances from bond number 9. Not just the Dubai series, but the whole house. And somewhat similar to Black Sapphire, not the way it smells, but we'll get to that in a second. But just a very, very loud and rich smelling fragrance. So on Thursday, the regular Roja Oud, not the Amber Oud. He's got quite a few. You guys know I own Sweetie Oud. This may be my favorite oud from Roja Parfums. Just the regular Roja Oud. The most traditional, in my opinion, the most traditional like rose and oud. But what really sets this apart for me is it has a nice acidity in the top with the rose. I think it's got like lime and bergamot maybe some lemon in there. But man, the rhubarb transitioning in between those middle notes, the rhubarb, ambergris, and leather, going from that, spicy, bright, acidic kind of rose note all the way down to the oud, leather, ambergris. Definitely one of the best fragrances in the entire lineup for Roja Parfums. Just my opinion. They have a bunch of good stuff, but this one is definitely special if you enjoy those types of Middle Eastern fragrances. So, man, Friday, Boadicea the Victorious, Night of Love. I don't know what to say about it. Fresh, dense, spicy, heavy, light. I mean, this fragrance just has everything. It's the juniper and the pink pepper. I think it's got some cashmere in there. It's got leather and tobacco in the base. Cardamom. I mean, you guys just got to try this fragrance if you haven't already. I think they have it at Joma Shop now. I bought it before it was actually at Joma Shop. I got it for around the same price they're selling it at Joma Shop, which is kind of cool. But for me, Night of Love is like a very unique fragrance, but it's also one of those fragrances that is very approachable from the House of Boadicea, maybe a little bit like Almas. Like Almas I still think is unique, but it's also going to be something that appeals to like niche connoisseurs and also people that are maybe kind of just getting into that niche market. It's not too strange or off-putting. Major compliments from this one. I've only worn it a few times. So if you like that ingredient breakdown and you like the House of Boadicea the Victorious, I would say this one is definitely a safe blind buy. Really good fragrance from them. For me, more spring or summertime. It is newer, so I'll be wearing it during the winter just to wear it and kind of see what the vibe is. But for me, looking at the ingredients, how it's performing, for me, that's a little bit more of a summer, springtime, warmer weather type of fragrance. So, man, on Saturday, and you'll see this in my list a lot coming up because it's a newer fragrance that I got, but it's Bond number 9 Dubai Black Sapphire. Again, kind of like Dubai Amber, this is almost so strong with every note that nothing overpowers each other. You have the rose, you have like honey, beeswax, so like a really dense, rich honey note with that rose. Saffron comes through, you got neroli, so you got a very like woody type of citrus note coming through. You got Xerjoff, which is a kind of not really similar to incense, but it's like a pressed oil that kind of has a smoky smell to it, very natural oil. It's prevalent in here with the incense and the oud as well. Guys, some people are gonna hate this fragrance. They really will. It's gonna remind them of like maybe an old person or something like that. But it's a little bit like Dasman, to where if you really enjoy, and maybe a little bit like Roja Oud, to where if you really enjoy those traditional Middle Eastern rose oud, and in this case, definitely incense and Xerjoff type of fragrance with a little bit more sweetness and a little bit of a twist. I kid you not, guys. This one, in my opinion, is just as good as Roja Oud or Boadicea Dasman. The quality is there. You know, this stuff I sprayed a spray on the back of my hand, and I could see the oil on the back of my hand for almost an hour with this stuff. So it's just a very thick and viscous juice inside the bottle, very oily, very pronounced, great longevity and development. And for $600 retail, it should be. Thankfully, Joma Shop, I think, has it for the low 200s, which is where I bought this. Really good deal on the fragrance. So for that price, it feels like a steal. 600 retail, I don't know about that, you know. Really good fragrance, though, especially if you enjoy those types of Middle Eastern fragrances. And yeah, for Bond number 9, I would say Amber and Black Sapphire. I've tried every one except for Emerald. I think I may have tried Emerald a long time ago, but I'm about to buy Emerald because that's just going to complete the entire collection for the Dubai series for me, besides the diamond stuff. And this one and Amber are the true like Middle Eastern type of fragrances from the Dubai line. They all have a little bit of a Middle Eastern type of twist and background to them, especially when you look at the ingredients. But when you look at Amber and Black Sapphire, those two are definitely the most Middle Eastern smelling of that entire lineup. And even though, you know, you can make an argument that they all smell a little bit Middle Eastern and they're influenced by that, these two are definitely the strongest ones. So on Sunday, we got Unique and Luxury Kutay. Again, love or hate for some people, it really smells like a bourbon or the inside of a bourbon barrel that's just been dumped. Nice note of there. Very realistic. I always kind of joke around with this and say, you know, if you were to spray this, 20 minutes later go drive and got pulled over, you definitely be checked for a DUI. There's no way the cop's going to think that you were not drinking. after this fragrance because it is very boozy. Agar wood, tobacco, nargamatha, which I believe is cypriol, one of those things. I believe it's this kind of an interchangeable term. So it's got that stuff in the base, very woody, tobacco, oud, and boozy fragrance. I personally love it, but I love those styles of fragrances. So if you guys don't, it may be worth getting a sample because this is definitely one of the strongest ones for that type of category. Just very, very unapologetic. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll get caught up on these rotations. I got one more to do, and we're actually on the current week, so this will probably be the last one of doing a double week of fragrance rotation videos. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Got a couple more things coming for the channel before Christmas. Hopefully I can get them filmed and get them up before Christmas Eve. So enjoy having you guys along with this journey. You know, it's always fun doing this types of things and kind of helps me keep track of it too, keeping notes down and remembering what I wore during certain days. So hope to see you all soon. Have a great evening, all right? Bye.